There is a sacred, paradoxical law of creation that has been whispered by mystics and sages for millennia. It is a truth so profound, yet so terrifying to the human ego, that it is often the very last secret a seeker learns on their path to liberation. It is the final, non-negotiable price of admission to the reality you have been dreaming of. And the truth is this: to get the life you truly want, the person you are right now must, in a very real sense, die. Let that statement land in your consciousness. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Because this is not a message of nihilism or despair, it is a message of profound hope. It is the blueprint for the most radical and beautiful transformation you will ever undertake. The death we speak of is not of the body, but of a story. It is the sacred dissolution of an identity, a collection of limitations, a web of past pains and inherited beliefs that you have mistaken for you. This old self, this familiar persona, is the single greatest obstacle standing between you and everything you desire. You have been trying to manifest a new life, but you have been trying to do it as your old self. You have been trying to pour the infinite ocean of your desired reality into the small, cracked cup of your current identity. It cannot be done. The container itself must change. You cannot take the old you into the new life. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom and love, will not grant you a reality that your current identity is not a vibrational match for. It would be a paradox. It would violate the very laws of physics. So if you have been feeling stuck, if you have been pushing against a reality that refuses to budge, if you feel like you are on a hamster wheel of repeating patterns, no matter how hard you try, it is not because you are not powerful enough. It is because you are too powerful. You are a creator of such immense, unwavering power that you have been perfectly and flawlessly recreating the reality of your old self, day after day, moment after moment, with the absolute fidelity of a master artist. The feeling of being stuck is the feeling of your own creative power being used unconsciously to sustain a prison of your own making. Today, we will hand you the key. But to use it, you must be willing to leave the old prisoner behind. To understand this process, you must first develop a deep, compassionate understanding of what this old self truly is. It is not your enemy. It is not a flaw to be despised. Your old self is a survival mechanism, a loyal bodyguard that you created, unconsciously, to navigate the world and protect you from perceived threats. It is a complex and brilliant construct of your subconscious mind, a tapestry woven from every experience you have ever had, every word that was ever spoken to you, every emotion you ever felt. It is your personality, your habits, your automatic emotional reactions, your ingrained beliefs about the world and your place in it. This bodyguard's primary directive is not your happiness, it is not your expansion, it is your survival. And its number one survival strategy is to keep everything the same. It operates on a simple principle. What is familiar is safe. What is unknown is potentially dangerous. The life you want, the new reality you are calling in, is, by its very definition, unknown. It is unfamiliar. And so, the moment you declare your intention to shift, your loyal bodyguard, your old self, sounds the alarm. It sees your desire for a new life as a threat to its existence, a threat to the familiar, predictable world it is so carefully constructed to keep you safe. And it will use every tool at its disposal to keep you from changing. It will flood your mind with thoughts of doubt. Who are you to think you can achieve that? You've tried before and failed. It's not realistic. It will trigger your body with familiar emotions of fear and anxiety, the chemical cocktails it has become addicted to. It will highlight every piece of evidence in your 3D reality that proves your new desire is impossible. This is not malice. This is its programming. It is a biological and neurological imperative, and your battle is not with the world outside. It is a gentle, loving, and persistent negotiation with this inner guardian. You must learn to thank it for its service, to honor its intention to protect you, and then lovingly ask it to stand down, because you are ready to consciously choose a new way of being. This old self is not just a psychological construct. It is a biophysical reality. From the perspective of neuroscience, your old self is a set of hardwired neural networks in your brain. Every time you have a recurring thought, you fire a specific set of neurons. When you fire them together, they start to wire together. Over years of repetition, these thoughts become neural superhighways. They become your default thought patterns, your automatic beliefs. They become who you are. "I'm not good enough" is not just a fleeting idea. It is a well-trodden, deeply ingrained neurological pathway. Simultaneously, every time you experience an emotion, your brain releases a corresponding cocktail of chemicals into your body. If you have spent years living in a state of stress, anxiety, or frustration, your body's cells have literally become addicted to those chemicals. Your body becomes the subconscious mind. It has memorized the feeling of your old self. This is why change is so hard. The moment you decide to think a new thought and feel a new emotion, you are going against decades of neurological hardwiring and biochemical addiction. Your body, craving its familiar chemical fix of cortisol and adrenaline, will send a signal back up to your brain, demanding that you think the thoughts that will produce those feelings. It will say, "Hey, we've been feeling anxious for 20 years. This feeling of peace and empowerment is unfamiliar. Let's think a worrying thought so we can get back to normal." And so the loop continues. The thought creates the feeling, and the feeling demands the thought. This is the state of being, the energetic signature of your old self running on autopilot. To let your old self die is the literal biological act of pruning these old neural pathways and unconditioning your body from its addiction to the emotions of the past. It is the work of stepping out of the known and into the unknown again and again until the unknown becomes your new, familiar home. From a quantum perspective, your old self is a coherent, stable, and powerful electromagnetic signature. You are a broadcast tower, and every moment of your existence, you are sending out a signal to the quantum field. This signal is a complex wave of information composed of your thoughts, the electrical charge, and your emotions, the magnetic charge. The quantum field, the infinite sea of potential where all realities exist, does not respond to what you want. It responds to the signal you are broadcasting right now. Your old self, with its repetitive thoughts and memorized emotions, is broadcasting a very consistent signal. Let's say the frequency of your old self is 99.7 FM. It is the frequency of not enough, of struggle, of longing. The quantum field, being an impartial mirror, simply receives this 99.7 FM signal and collapses waves of potential into particles that perfectly match it. It organizes energy to create people, places, and events that resonate with 99.7 FM. More experiences of not enough, more struggle, more longing. Your life is a perfect, three-dimensional printout of your energetic broadcast. The reality you desire, the life you want, is simply a different broadcast. It is a different station, vibrating at a different frequency. Say, 105.3 FM. This is the frequency of abundance, of wholeness, of joy. You cannot experience the reality of 105.3 FM while you are broadcasting at 99.7 FM. It is a physical impossibility. The death of the old self, therefore, is the conscious act of taking your hand off the tuning dial of 99.7 FM. It is the decision to stop broadcasting the familiar signal of your past. This is the most crucial and courageous step. Before you can even tune to the new station, you must first be willing to let go of the old one. This creates a moment of silence, a moment of static, a moment of no self. This is the void, and it is in this void, this space of pure potential, that the new creation can finally begin. The primary tool for this sacred act of dissolution is the power of the observer effect, but turned inward. In quantum physics, it is the act of conscious observation that collapses the infinite wave of potential into a singular particle of experience. Your attention, your consciousness, is the most powerful and creative force in the universe. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and reality manifests. You have, up until this point, been unconsciously keeping your old self alive by constantly observing it, by constantly giving it your attention. Every time you react to an old trigger, every time you get lost in a familiar story of lack or victimhood, every time you indulge in a memorized emotional state, you are collapsing the wave of the old self into the particle of your present moment. You are literally recreating it again and again with your own focused energy. The death of the old self is the process of withdrawing that energy. It is the art of becoming the silent, non-judgmental witness of your own programming. When a negative thought from your old self arises in your mind, you do not fight it. You do not suppress it. And you do not believe it. You simply notice it. You become the observer. You say, "Ah, there is the thought that I am not worthy." That is a neurological pattern from the past. It is a program running. In that moment of pure, detached observation, you have done something radical. You have separated your true self, the consciousness that is observing, from the thought program itself. You are no longer in the program. You are the awareness behind the program. You are no longer the actor lost in the play. You are the director watching from the audience. By not reacting, by not giving it your emotional energy, you are no longer feeding it. You are starving it of the very life force it needs to survive. You are not killing it with violence. You are allowing it to dissolve with love and awareness. This practice of observation must be extended to your emotions. This is perhaps the most challenging part of the work. Your body will cry out for its familiar chemical state. When you are trying to feel abundant, it will trigger a wave of anxiety. When you are trying to feel love, it will trigger a pang of old heartbreak. The old self is trying to pull you back into its familiar emotional territory. Your task is not to resist the emotion, for what you resist persists. Your task is to observe it with radical acceptance. You sit with the feeling. You allow the wave of anxiety or sadness to be there in your body without a story attached to it. You feel the physical sensations, the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach, without judging them or wishing them away. You are essentially teaching your body, through your calm, steady presence, that it is safe to feel these old emotions without having to act on them. You are teaching it that you are no longer taking your marching orders from these chemical signals of the past. You are lovingly and patiently reparenting your own nervous system. You are showing it that there is a new baseline, a new state of being that is not dependent on the dramas of survival. Every time you successfully observe an old emotional trigger without being consumed by it, a profound rewiring is happening. You are weakening the neural pathways of the old reaction. You are signaling to your cells that they no longer need to prepare for that chemical state. You are quite literally letting your old emotional self die, not through struggle but through the gentle, compassionate light of your own awareness. This is the sacred pause, the space between stimulus and response, where your true power lies. In this pause, you're no longer a victim of your past. You are the creator of your future. As you commit to this process of observing and letting go, you will enter what is known as the dark night of the soul, or what we can call the great void of identity. This is a terrifying, disorienting, and absolutely necessary stage of transformation. As the old identity begins to dissolve, but before the new one has fully solidified, there will be a period where you feel like nothing. You will not feel like the old you, but you will not yet feel like the new you either. The old motivations, the old desires, the old ways of being will no longer resonate, but the new ones will still feel distant and unfamiliar. You may feel lost, apathetic, and deeply confused. Who am I, if I am not my story of struggle? Who am I, if I am not my ambition or my pain? This is the death rattle of the ego, the personality construct. It is the ultimate test of faith. You are in the space between trapezes. You have let go of the old bar, and you are flying through the air, and the new bar is not yet in your hands. This is the point where most people panic and scramble back to the old familiar identity, even if it was a miserable one. The pain of the unknown feels greater than the pain of the known. But you must understand this. The void is not an absence. It is the ultimate presence. It is the state of pure potential. You are in the quantum field itself, a formless awareness from which all forms are born. You are in the chrysalis. The old caterpillar has dissolved into a soupy, chaotic mess, and the butterfly has not yet taken shape. It is a messy, confusing, and profoundly sacred process. Your only job in this stage is to endure, to surrender, to have faith in the process of your own becoming, to rest in the nothingness, knowing that it is the fertile ground from which your new reality will sprout. You are not lost. You are being rebuilt from the inside out. Out of this void, you must then begin the conscious creation of your new self. It is not enough to simply let the old die. You must give birth to the new. This is not something that will happen to you. It is something you must do with deliberate, focused intention. This is the act of embodiment. You have already defined the who you wish to become. Now you must rehearse this new identity until it becomes your new nature. This is the work of mental and emotional rehearsal. As we've discussed, you must take time every single day, preferably in the morning before the old self fully takes hold, to consciously step into the state of being of your future self. You close your eyes and you ask, what would it feel like if my dream reality were already true? And you do not wait for the feeling to happen. You generate the feeling. You use the magnificent power of your heart and your imagination to create the biochemical state of your new self, right here, right now. You feel the gratitude for the abundance that is already yours in the quantum. You feel the wholeness of the love that you already are. You feel the vibrant energy of the health that is your natural state. You are teaching your body, chemically, what its new future feels like. You are giving it a taste of a new reality. And the body, being the subconscious mind, begins to believe that this new reality is the current reality. As you do this day after day, you are literally installing new neurological hardware and upgrading your body's operating system. You are moving from cause and effect, waiting for the outer world to change how you feel on the inside, to causing an effect, changing your inner world to such a degree that the outer world must reorganize to match it. This is the essence of being a quantum creator. This rehearsal must then extend into your waking life. This is the practice of embodying your new identity in the face of contradictory evidence. You must begin to make choices from the perspective of the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. You ask yourself throughout the day, what would the unlimited version of me do right now? You are faced with an investment opportunity. The old self, rooted in scarcity, would be terrified and say no. The new self, rooted in abundance, would assess it from a place of empowerment and trust. You are presented with a chance to speak your truth in a relationship. The old self, fearing abandonment, would stay silent. The new self, rooted in self-worth, would communicate openly and lovingly. You have the choice between a healthy meal and a comforting but unhealthy one. The old self, addicted to the chemistry of self-sabotage, would choose the comfort. The new self, who is the embodiment of vibrant health, would choose the nourishment. Every single choice, no matter how small, is a vote. It is a declaration to the universe of who you have decided to be. Am I the person of the past, or am I the person of the future? When you consistently make choices that are in alignment with your future self, you are building what neuroscientists call procedural memory. You are making your new identity an automatic skill. It is no longer something you have to think about. It becomes your new nature. It becomes your new personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. When your new identity has become more familiar to you than your old one, the shift is complete. The death is finalized. The rebirth is accomplished. When this inner transformation is complete, the outer world will begin to morph and reorganize with a speed and elegance that will feel like magic. But it is not magic. It is physics. You have changed your broadcast, and now you are tuned to a new station. The universe must now deliver to you the people, the opportunities, and the synchronicities that resonate with your new frequency. Things that you chased for years will suddenly fall into your lap, seemingly out of nowhere. The perfect partner will appear. The ideal job offer will arrive in your inbox. An unexpected source of abundance will open up. Your body will begin to heal. This is not the universe finally giving you what you want. This is the universe simply revealing the reality that you have finally become a vibrational match to. It was always there, waiting for you. You did not attract it. You allowed it by becoming it. And in that moment of receiving, you will understand the ultimate truth. The external manifestation was never the prize. It was just the echo, the cosmic confirmation of the inner work you have done. The real prize was the death of the old you. The real prize was the liberation from your own self-imposed prison. The real prize was the remembering of your true nature as a limitless, divine creator, with the power to choose who you are in every single moment. The death of the old self is the ultimate act of self-love. It is the willingness to let go of everything you are not, to make space for everything you truly are. It is the most courageous journey you will ever take, and it is the only journey that leads back home, to the truth of your own magnificent power. The life you want is on the other side of the person you have been. Are you ready to let them go? Are you ready to die to your old life so that you can finally be reborn into the one that is waiting for you?